Hi. So this afternoon I'm going to make some muffins. They're sun-dried tomato and prosciutto muffins, and they're super easy to make. There's just a couple of little tricks I thought I'd share with you, things that I think it makes just a little bit easier. I just realised I probably should have chopped up my sun-dried tomato a little bit, so I might do that, but we'll start off with some other bits. I'll just grab what I need for that. Okay, so sun-dried, start at the beginning. Prosciutto and sun-dried tomato muffins. Okay, they are full of protein. If we look at the, we'll just use this down arrow here, and we'll go and look at the nutrition. And it is 289.7 calories per muffin. It makes 12 of them. 19.4 grams of protein, big plus. 7.6 grams of carbs, so that's pretty good too. And 19.8 grams of fat. So we are really focusing on low carb, high fat, or healthy fat. And the fats that are going to go in here, there's a bit of cheese, but there's nuts. And there's actually there's a lot of cheese because there's cottage cheese as well. And one of my tips is just how to use that cottage cheese the best way. So it's a great low carb, healthy fat lunch. So we will take this for lunch for the next few days. It makes 12. We might not have them every day for the next 6 days with a little bit of coleslaw or something like that. And it's just perfect. But let's get back to it. Preheat my oven to 200, that's happening. Grease a 12-hole muffin thing. Well, I don't do that. So I use, and these are from ages and ages ago, and you can buy proper things now, but years ago, when I wanted to use these in my Varoma, you can actually buy the proper containers for your Varoma. I bought like a $5 set of 12 of these, and I just cut them all out so I can just put them in individually. So now what I do is I put them into my muffin tray, and I don't line them because with the silicone you don't need to, and that's what I love about silicone. Okay. 80 grams of Parmesan cheese. It's a bit over, I know that, but who cares? Never too much Parmesan cheese. My lid on. 10 seconds, speed 9. Okay, transfer 2 tablespoons into a small bowl. So I'm actually going to put them into this bowl. I'm going to weigh something into the other. So I'm just guessing. This is just a sprinkle on the top, so you don't need that much. So I've still got a good amount of Parmesan cheese left in it. Leave the remaining Parmesan in the mixing bowl. So we've done that. Next. 60 grams of buckwheat groats. So these are buckwheat groats. This is gluten-free, I should have said that. So they're just these funny little, if you can really see that, I'll get one in the palm of my hand. These funny little things there. They are buckwheat groats, or I think they can also be called bucchinis. So they are, if you're gluten-free, they make a really great flour that can be used in a lot of recipes. So I always have some of those in my cupboard. 60 grams. Perfect. Pop the lid on. We're just going to mill those. 1 minute. Actually, before we do that, you know what I'm going to do? Whilst that's milling, I'm going to chop up my sun-dried tomatoes. So I'm going to just think ahead with sometimes. I'm going to pop that on there. I'm going to go into my recipe detail. 80 grams of sun-dried tomatoes. So I'm going to continue. Then I'm going to hit the home button here. I'm going to find my scales. Could have done it a different way. I'll show you the other way as well. So I can do it that way, or in my recipe, I can just go here and I can hit my scales there. So I just want to weigh 80 grams of semi-sun-dried tomatoes. or sun-dried tomatoes into here, because I can chop them whilst that buckwheat's milling then. Whoops, got a bit of oil going in. Tricky to get out with not too much oil in there. That'll do. That'll do, Pete. All right. So now I can get rid of the scales and I can continue with the recipe, which was that milling for a minute. It may not need the full minute on speed 9, but whilst it's milling, I'm going to just chop up these sun-dried tomatoes a little bit. Okay, so that's it. Love a bit of multitasking, fitting in with whatever needs to be done. All right, so just show you. So can you see that's the cheese and the Parmesan cheese and the buckwheat. And I'm just going to, oh, then I've got to add more almonds, but I'm going to scrape the sides now. So we've got a little bit of flour. We've got some fats in the cheese. Now we're going to add some more fats in the almonds. There we go. Popping the lid on again. 10 seconds, speed 7. Right, the next bit, I don't have basil. I did mean to grab some and I forgot, so I don't have basil, but that's fine because I know these taste really good anyway. So there we are. We've got the cheese and the nuts and the buckwheat all mixed up together there. Then we're going to add in the sun-dried tomatoes. It's a little bit under. That's all right. 300 grams of cottage cheese. Now, this is my tip for you. Really hard to find 300 grams of cottage cheese. You can get 200 grams or you can get 500 grams. So I bought the 500 grams, and because I made some really thick Greek yogurt the other day, I'm going to do 250 grams of the cottage cheese and 50 grams of the yogurt. So that means I've got enough cottage cheese left over to make another batch of these, and they're actually really good to put in the freezer. So that's what I'm going to do today. So I've got 250 going in here. Okay. So I will just need to stock up on a bit more prosciutto and a few more sun-dried tomatoes, and I can make another batch. So perfect. All right, that is that. And then the yogurt. So I'm going to make it up with 50 grams of yogurt. Let me just show you this yogurt. So I've got this. Check out this yogurt. Look at that. Amazing. Look how thick it is. So it's a recipe. Oops, gone a little bit over the 300. Anyway, that's fine. It's a recipe from Jeanette Pierce. She's a team leader in Tasmania, and she's called Thermogrubers, and she's got an ebook you can buy. And I bought it because I really wanted it. People have recommended her yogurt, and I'm not very good at making it, and I wanted to make it. made, this is one of the ice cream containers from the mix shop. It filled 2 of these, so 2 litres worth. So next time I'll only make 1 litre's worth, because that'll probably keep me going. But it does say it lasts in the fridge for 2 weeks. So that's my little tip, is just if you've got a nice thick yogurt, use some of that instead of being left with, you know, not the right amount at all of your cottage cheese. Okay. Gluten-free baking powder, because we are gluten-free. 1 and a half, and these actually do puff up really nicely. 100 grams of water. So measuring cup, this is what we have, a measuring cup. It's a 100 gram measure. Well, 95 grams in that lot, that's fine. It's a bit over with the yogurt. 5 eggs, all broken here. Pop them in. Teaspoon of salt. Put my lid on, measuring cup in. 20 seconds on speed 4, good mixing speed. All right. Now, another little tip with this. So when you buy, I bought this, okay? And I don't know, you might better buy it at the deli, I'm not sure. So I know it's in plastic, but I can recycle. So when you get this, it's 6 long slices, and this actually asks for 12 slices, but I do it with 6 because it's not cheap, this stuff. So what I've done is I've actually done it with some of these, and I have 1 left to do. So I get my, I've got it across this way, okay, in the pack. I cut it that way, I separate them all, and then I cut it once more. So that leaves me with a whole, you see how that, it doesn't totally line it, but it's going to capture, it doesn't matter anyway, because it's going to cook all right. I know this works. So it's not totally all the way around the little muffin thing, but it works really well. So I've just left 1 to go. So all I've done is just cut 1 piece there, put that across that way, and that across the other way. And that is it. So that's all you actually need to do. So it saves you the cost of, you know, 1 whole packet of this. Mind you, I should have bought 2 because I put them in my other batch. All right. Now I'm going to divide the mixture evenly. I'm just going to grab something to do that. This is my favourite little spatula for scooping. Scrape around the edges. Okay. Sometimes I find I've got a little bit of extra mixture here, so I'm not quite sure how that works. But anyway, you can see how runny it is. Oh, lots of sun-dried tomato going in that one. Overdose. All right. Yeah, I'm going to have some left over. Anyway, that's all right. So I guess what you could do, they'll make a little mess here. What you could do is if you left that extra 250 grams of, just did 250 grams of cottage cheese, I reckon you'd be fine. Because then you're not going to have, I've got this left over at the moment. I will try and fill them up a little bit, but you don't want them to overflow too much either. I'm still going to have a little bit left over, but that's okay. I will do something with that shortly. Sprinkle with the reserved Parmesan cheese, so I'll just do that. So I'll be liberal with that one. Okay, a little bit more on here. Okay, so that's then, let's just check the screen here. 20 to 25 minutes at 200 degrees until a wooden skewer inserted comes out clean. Transfer onto a wire rack and cool slightly before serving. All right, so I'm going to pop these in the oven, and when I post this up to YouTube, there will be a picture of one of the finished ones on the cover. But really great thing to store in the freezer, super easy to make, full of protein, full of good fats and low on carb.